Hi, everyone. Happy Saturday night, wherever you are, whatever day you're watching this. If it's right now while I'm live or this evening, welcome from my home to yours, wherever you are. If you're cold, I wish you warmth. If you're hungry, I would like to hope and send blessings that food is coming your way. And my videos are never to flaunt any sort of privilege or entitlement that I have, but rather to really position sustainability back into the world. Equality, equal rights for all in the world. And furthermore, it's really to build a world family. So welcome from us. We've got Pablo over there on the couch, the little brown guy. We've got Luna over here, the white German Shepherd mix. And we've got Fire over here on the floor. Everyone's been walked, had their dinner, and Mama went and did some shopping. And in light of what I'm going to share tonight, the 3Ds, diluted, diluted, and denuded. I have a few other things I want to bring that I think you'll find kind of interesting, but I also wanted to share a couple food things and then I can get them out of my hand. So I thought it'd be kind of cool to put a little diversity in there because I went shopping and maybe you don't know about these things like I didn't until today. So I went to, set my little binder with a few notes because there's some statistics on there that I want to be able to just tell you, and I didn't commit them all to memory. I had a hat on today, so I just did my best to pull my hair back. It was 28 degrees here in Northeast Minnesota. And let's get on with some of the hot food tips, okay? Because of all the talk that we hear, we need to have some foods, no matter what your diet type. You might say, well, I eat anything, or I only eat foods that are gluten-free, or I only eat foods that don't have dairy and stuff like that. So whatever your food style is, I think these will appeal to you. They can be eaten by just about anyone. So the first thing that I found, and I should say that I went to Walmart in Duluth because I wanted to pick up some very affordable wild rice. And I should have shown you the wild rice too. That'd be great. But I've tried all kinds of wild rice. Minnesota's like wild rice land. And although I'd eaten wild rice back in California till I was about 42 and moved here in 2002 with my precious son, that I died. He transitioned from Earth about a year and almost 2 months ago on December 29th. So I am in rough shape and I'm uprising and I'm using the medicine that I use with others. And so here's one thing I found, okay? This is by a woman named Christy and it's called Quinn Dark Chocolate Peanut-Filled Pretzel Nuggets. All of these were like in the $3 category. And I felt like whether you're on food stamps, on a small budget, or whatever it is, these were not necessarily the most nutrient dense, healthy foods on the planet. Certainly a lot of gluten-free foods are going to stiffen you up a little differently than wheat foods because they've got tapioca flour and rice. You know, like two of the pastas that I bought tonight, also for kind of like a, just in case kind of a thing, like the cold depths of winter are coming. There's a lot of talk about things might not be so great for a little while. We've had lockdowns, shutdowns, whatever you want to call them. I really don't like to acknowledge them, except that I thought, let me just be prepared that I have a few things. So these pretzels are pretzels reimagined. And she said, when my son Quinn was born, I set out to on a mission to clean up my favorite childhood snacks. And one of those was pretzels. So look at these, okay? They're amazing. They're just a little over $3 a bag at Walmart. And they look like this. And I mean, they are so good. I was really hungry leaving Walmart today. I could back up a little. And so I ate like a bunch of them. I ate a bunch of them. So let me put my glasses on and I'll read you the ingredients, which are Tapioca starch, so that is stiffening. Peanut butter, dry roasted peanuts, sugar and salt, whole grain sorghum flour, which is another gluten-free flour, brown rice flour, potato starch, which is another stiffener, organic palm oil, organic powdered sugar, organic cane sugar, organic tapioca starch, organic cocoa powder, banana flour, peanuts, organic cane sugar, salt, apple cider vinegar, xanthan gum, which is okay, and sea salt, baking soda, vitamin E for the freshness, and sunflower lecithin. And it says in the contains area where a lot of people need to know, what's going on with the processing, it says contains peanuts. So I'm going to show you the front and the back. Sounds like her son's name was Quinn. Her son Quinn was born and she set out to do these. So this is another great little business idea, people. There's the ingredients I just read you. And when you do a nutritional label like this and you come up with your own product in your own kitchen, I want to say, if I remember correctly, I think it was like $250, and you send it to a company and all you do is provide them the recipe. They don't taste it. They don't test it in some kind of a big machine that tests every ingredient. They're basically using the nutritional value for foods for God knows how long, right? So this is a nutritional label that you pay for to put on your product. And just like when I was using community printers, and probably still will, for flyers and brochures and all kinds of handouts for my students, for my classes, they will put this together for you using these universal symbols at a desktop publisher. So you don't even have to do that piece, okay? So I'm going to put this one down. Quinn's pretzels. I got the peanut ones and the dark chocolate ones, and I haven't tried the peanut ones yet. Okay, one more thing I got some brown coconuts. You can see the eyes here. And I got these because, take these off for a minute. What I'm going to do is take and crack them one at a time. And you want to shake them and make sure that you can hear that there's some coconut water or milk in there. These are more aged coconuts than what you're used to. The white ones that have been shaved for you are young Thai coconuts, typically from Thailand. And they have been sprayed, most of them. But these are a little older coconut, and that means that when you crack them open, you're going to see a thicker meat, a thicker fruit fiber in here. It's going to be thicker that you're going to take out, and you can put that through the juicer. You can also put it into the blender with water and whip up your coconut cream. So a lot of people that make a lot of raw goodies will use these. And then it's kind of fun too, like when Zawa was really little, I would ask him to pick me the one that I say, go over and shake the brown coconuts and pick me the good one. So when I went to Super One the other day, they were $3 and something each. These were $1.98 at Walmart. And these look a lot healthier. They look like two breasts. And they hardly had a shake sound to them. I thought, geez, the price is usually double of what I pay typically. They didn't really have a shake to them. So I said, nah, I'm going to wait on those. And I'm glad I got these two today. I have some plans that I would like to really do some experimentation with coconut cream with those. And then probably the last thing I'm going to show you on food tips, because I think it's just fun to find new stuff, is also at Walmart. Most of you are going to have a Walmart nearby if you're in the United States. And if not, hopefully these are somewhere or something similar, or you could actually make your own too. Is I found these Emmy's Organics Original Coconut Cookies. These are the vanilla bean. I also got a package of the peanut butter, and they look like this when you open them out. They're soft and delicious. I mean, these are really, really good. And I'm sure that your children would like them as well. Emmy's Organics at Walmart. Look at that. Vegan, organic, gluten-free, vanilla bean, which is like gold today. This package represents why we started Emmy's Organics. to provide simple and delicious snacks for everyone to enjoy. From way back when at our local farmers market to selling in stores nationwide. This is truly a dream come true. Ian and Samantha, co-founders. Vanilla bean, which is simple, not basic. The combination of smooth vanilla, freshly ground almonds are a perfect pair for your daily beverage. And the ingredients are organic coconut, organic agave syrup, organic almond flour, organic coconut oil, organic vanilla extract, organic vanilla bean powder, and Himalayan salt. Yum, yum. These are good until July of 21, which means they're good longer. And so if you were going to be, or you are a schoolie dweller, a van dweller, look at that. Yum, yum. Is there any, let's see what's on the nutritional label. Ooh, a lot of saturated fat, but it's kind of a good fat. So it is a good fat. So look at that, and it's certified kosher. So I wanted to show you some things tonight that are pretty amazing. And I even bit into one for you. And then the last one is that I found some, remember last time I was showing you the lemonade version? I was like, whoa, lemonade, I was craving lemons. Now I found the golden pineapple. I'm gonna take a quick drink. What's so good about kombucha? Do you know? It's because it's loaded with pre and probiotics. It's fermented. That's what they do is they take a SCOBY, which is a bacteria, and they grow the bacteria, right? Maybe not so pretty. Looks like a big mushroom. And then they add the tea and the fruit juices and things like that, and they feed it with the sugars. And so even though I'm not a SCOBY grower, and you could be saying, whoa, she doesn't know what she's talking about, feel free to correct me down below because I'm definitely not a SCOBY grower. I do like the pineapple kombucha. I think it's really good. And I thought to myself that I was actually going to try, because I made, if you go to my Naturally with Karen, corresponding same name, Facebook page, earlier today, the morning, the AM, I did a video where I was juicing some ginger, adding some cinnamon and maple syrup, and eventually some raw honey. And I thought that would actually be kind of good in here too. Maybe, maybe not. All right, let's dig into it, okay? I'm gonna pick up my notes here. So the 3 Ds are diluted, D-E-L-U-D-E-D, delude. Are you deluded, right? Which means to make someone believe something that's really not true. Let's keep that in mind. You're deluded, right? You're deluded. Is the public deluded today? Well, yes. To some extreme they are. To some level they are. They believe in a lot of things. If you drive around and you see there's jingle bells and Santa Claus and everything's playing. But we've got work to do when it comes to building food for us and sustainable shelters and taking care of our people that are out on the streets, taking care of our military veterans, taking care of our children that are confused and scared. But, you know, like a lot of people are pointing out, and certainly myself after almost 40 years of wellness, and no, not just reading books, being in business and helping people get real results, being on telehealth, being on the phone for lots and lots of years before I made the shift onto the video because it was intimidating at first. You know, it is for all of us. But getting results. There's no talk about food-based vitamin C. Magnesium for so many people that are starved for magnesium that their bones are starting to suffer, their nervous system is starting to get out of whack, they've got more and more anxiety, they're depressed, you know, they're more prone to addiction. I mean, I could go on. They've got pseudo-bipolar, as Dr. Malter talks about. They become more critical, more mood disordered, you know. They develop more problems internally with more trace element imbalances. You've got to balance the calcium, the magnesium, the chromium, the sulfur. And it's like your internal switches and fuse box and spark plugs. And this is something I've studied for years, helped people and helped to figure it out and learn from those who walked long before me, Dr. Watts, Dr. Malter, and many more. I give thanks to. But so the people are deluded into fear and, oh my God, I can't believe they're out without a mask. Oh my God. So when I ask you, what are you doing for your ovarian cancer? What are you doing for your autoimmune? What are you doing so you don't, quote, catch COVID, which I don't know about that, okay? What are you doing to help yourself? You're going to need to do certain things with your diet, with your sleep. Shut the game systems off, get out of the chair, stop getting so congested up with mucus and inflammation because you're eating your pizza and your Cheetos and your pork rinds, your Mountain Dew and your Diet Cokes, your coffee, what do you call those things at McDonald's? Mac Frappes. I see a lot of you. You're coming out of Quick Trip with a big pink thing full of frosting, whipped cream on the top of it. You can't subsist even, you can't exist healthfully, but you can't even subsist, meaning below level, eating crap like that, eating torpedoes that roll around for hours at the Quick Trip. You can't live on those. People are deluded into thinking, I can just eat what I want to eat. They've been made to believe something is true when it's not. They're deluded. Diluted, the other, number 2D. Number 2D, diluted. We have become so diluted, weakened in strength, to be made weaker, to be watered down, to have lost even skin hue and pigment, that we don't even recognize, but we go to the doctor and we're told we have vitiligo. That sounds powerful. It's another one of those V words like vertigo. Kind of like the Harry Potter language I keep speaking about. Don't call me the witch or the sorcerer. Don't call me the pagan. Call me the medicine woman who wants things to be level and real and grounded. How diluted are you? In fact, because women are losing womb stability, the womb is the room in the house. The house is the house that we're building, the house of the future together. We're building the house of the future together. Thank you, Kate Bush. Okay. When we're diluted, we don't have enough copper and zinc. We don't have a foundation to be able to hold that baby, to be able to be fertile enough to conceive that baby, man or woman, that foundation, because you're diluted. You're watered down because you were deluded. You were told something that wasn't the truth. Now let's go to 3D, denuded. Denuded simply means that you've been stripped away at. Stripped and stripped and stripped and stripped and stripped. Kind of like right now. Your freedoms are just being stripped away. Well, why do you got to talk about all this negative stuff? I mean, God, we've already got all this negative stuff. My mind is already racing. You can watch this, start this, stop this, whatever you want to do. You don't have to watch it at all. You don't. You really don't. You don't have to watch me. But if you want to be a higher functioning individual, your antenna is grounded, your base is grounded, and your antenna is connected to the Most High, connected to the Most High, then you're going to need to be picking up now. You're going to need to be picking up. You're going to have to. Because we're sitting on the eve of the approaching solstice. And the solstice always happens to deal with the sun. Sol, S-O-L, is the sun. And the sun has been struggling for a long time. The sun of man and woman, and the sun that we see up in the sky that is a photovoltaic, photosynthesizing, luminous body of light that has taken care of us. It's Fireboy snoring. With everything going on with your being deluded, not just you, but many, 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 many generations. We just had Thanksgiving, right? Just weeks ago, and now we're kind of zooming into what we call Christmas. And so Thanksgiving time rolls around. In 2018, I was eating Thanksgiving with my son at the deck in Duluth. My son was in a very precarious situation. He was really caught up with heroin addiction. He'd been given oxycodone in 2012 for an accident. The doctors want to encourage mom, he can go in by himself. He's a teenager. And to which I would usually retort, hell to the no. I'm going in the room. Okay? Like it, don't care. Do you think I should trust my immature, inexperienced child to make adult level decisions? No, you don't. You don't put a 10 or a 12-year-old in charge of what's the family going to do today. If you're wise and you're smart and you're not insane in the membrane, you're going to tell a 10-year-old, we're going to do X, Y, and Z today. When would you like to go to the store? Would you like to go now before we're doing this errand, or would you like to go later? Because you have a choice there. And I respect your choice. So you start to introduce choices to children, but they don't make the rules. And this is why it's really uncomfortable for me to move with people who I can very clearly see have given their young children lots and lots and lots of authority in their home. So this is how it came to be that we came to be deluded, is that certain individuals were given a lot of authority that should not have been given that authority. And they rode in these individuals on the backs of animals for whom they had no authority, slew and murdered individuals in villages in the Fertile Crescent, and claimed authority and started making the rules and laying down systems and laying down yearly annual meetings about how things were going to be run. But that's not at all the ideal way to run things. The ideal way to run things is through localized councils of elders who are fully capable of mature experience and wisdom, saturated with knowledge from experiences, not someone who's held a couple of jobs for 5 or 10 years in their life and then sat on the couch and got fat, stayed home with children. I'm talking about someone who's held multiple capacities of respect, experience, wisdom, and lots of knowledge through experiences, lots of healing, lots of problem solving, because otherwise then a conflict rolls around, and this is human nature. There's always going to be conflict. There's going to be feelings and emotions that come out of human beings, and when they do, these emotions, and then the cognitive spin becomes a feeling. I think she doesn't like me. How come she doesn't really take care of me? I thought I really meant a lot to her, and now I realize I don't, right? And then it starts to brew, and it's like that Kombucha SCOBY, the Kombucha SCOBY, right? That we want to drink this for our health, for our gut, because like I said, it has pre and probiotics. It's fermented. So like I had the kimchi, a couple bites today when I first started putting anything in my mouth as far as food. close to noon. And then later I'm having the kombucha because it's going to keep the stomach acid balance. It's going to keep the gut flora. It's going to keep things moving. It's healthy. There are instances where kombucha is something I would not recommend for certain clients who are putrefying and very toxic and very big muffin top gut, big arm. If you take a tape measure and you measure the arm about right here at the bicep, and it's a pretty big arm, then there's a lot of plaque and plugging up going to the heart. We want to measure the temperature, the arm circumference, around the gut. Okay, we want to see the whole picture. Otherwise, we're just dealing with a small piece of the picture. Now, a couple things that I wanted to share with you because I don't want to go too long, okay? Why are we not holding smokers accountable? Okay, there are public codes in the city of Duluth. I think it's 28-60. I've got to look it up again. Tobacco-related mortality. In cigarettes, there's over 7,000 chemicals. Most of the people that are rotund, they're extra big, are digging their graves with their fork in their teeth. Many of those are also smoking cigarettes. Smoking cigarettes is a really clear indicator of someone who didn't get enough of mommy. And so it's oral gratification, no different than eating all the time. Or if you're crunching chips, it's dispelling anger. You're helping the jaw to dispel anger. The spell has been put upon you. That you've got a grievance and you really don't want to handle it because you don't like confrontation. Confrontation is necessary to be able to say, I feel rejected. I don't feel loved by you. How come you're not picking up my phone call? Blah, blah, blah. But when you launch into counterattack, the person goes, ooh, I'm dealing with someone who doesn't have a very experienced emotional level. Okay? Now, a lot of people that I speak with on the phone tell me, did you hear Dr. D? I won't say his last name. Dr. A and Dr. H? And this doctor? And I'm like, yeah. Not being big-headed, but come on, man, I've been on this path for almost 40 years. Yes, I've heard I could teach the same thing. I know these things. I know that they're really cool. It's great. But I'm not a baby in this. I'm not. I didn't do this just kind of a little part-time. I'm a high copper individual, and trust me, I'm like on it, devouring stuff for a long time. Okay? There were 480,000 deaths in the United States. 41,000 of those deaths were from secondhand smoke. So if cigarette smoke bleeds into my space, whether I'm outside, in my apartment, at my job, in my business, at my school, in my college, in my child's nursery or daycare or school, that's a no-no. That's more of a health hazard than the big scammers. 1 in 5 deaths annually in the United States is caused from cigarette smoking. These are CDC figures, people. Your surveillance agency, the Center for Disease Control that voted itself back in 1951, remember I read you that page, I think it was page number 81 in Virus Mania. 7,333 cases of these deaths were lung cancer. People generally die 10 years earlier from smoking. Okay, so what are we doing? We're focusing on a cold, but we're not doing anything to put the kibosh on smoking. Why are we still selling cigarettes? Oh, because Native Americans, they value tobacco. Then sell plain tobacco. No harm done, right? Sell plain tobacco. Now, if you eat those cookies, you get little like coconutty things on the side of your mouth. So that's why I'm wiping my mouth. Children who are around smokers bleeding into their apartment. So in other words, I have a direct, serious level health threat against my being, my person, my health, my brain, my central nervous system, having cigarette smoke bleed into my environment. No matter where I am, if I'm standing outside and you're smoking a cigarette, you need to stand way back. In fact, that's why most of the cities said you can't smoke within 25 or 50 feet or more in front of a building. If you go to school buildings, even those that are no longer used as a school, there is a sign out front, which I guess is kind of misleading, that says tobacco-free zone. Does it not? Okay, let's continue on. Children exposed to secondhand smoke are much more predisposed to heart disease, stroke and lung cancer, ear disease. I'm sorry, the smokers had lung disease, stroke, and cancer. The children had ear diseases. Can you think about all the numbers of children, including my own uncle, my mother's brother, so we're talking the 40s, had tubes put into his ears? Respiratory diseases from secondhand smoke. You mean to tell me that the respiratory diseases that I'm going to be predisposed to, that I'm going to be subjected to from cigarette smoke, are probably far greater than anything we hear about today? Well, by golly, it is. Okay? Let's not forget the third one here, that the CDC, the surveillance agency that it is, has listed for children exposed to secondhand cigarette smoke, the one that has over 7,000 chemicals. SIDS, S-I-D-S, sudden infant death syndrome. Okay. On average, according to Statistica, my research, 8,000 people die each day in the United States in the year 2019. This was taken 12/10/2019. Okay? I'm blown away. Okay? I want to keep this really short. I'm blown away. Here's why. We say that, oh my God, we've got this horrible, terrible thing. People are being rushed to the hospital. This is serious, Karen. My God, put a mask on. When have you ever gone to your doctor, an emergency urgent care clinic, the urgent care at the hospital, or the emergency at the hospital, and had one damn doctor ask you how much vitamin C you take? Do you take magnesium? What are your trace element levels? No, you haven't, because it's not taught in medical school, what we call evidence-based, right? But the evidence supports that, in fact, you are going to be predisposed to metabolic/oxidative cancers and numerous issues, including some of the newer mental health, because now we've got what? A DSM number, what, 10, 11, 12? I don't even know anymore. I think it's a 10. There was a time 15, 20 years ago when you didn't dare diagnose a child under the age of 10 with bipolar. Not today. I was at Quick Trip and I was Facebooking on Naturally with Karen, getting some windshield wiper fluid, and I think I found a hack for that. I think I'm going to go to the dollar store and buy the dollar store big bottles or the big container of window cleaner, the big one, the blue stuff that looks just like the windshield wiper stuff. And I think I'm going to take a half a bottle and dilute it with a half a bottle of water. I'm going to pour that stuff in. That's going to be my hack for 50 cents instead of a $3 bottle of windshield wiper cleaner. I thought about it when I got home and I was like, well, duh. Wouldn't that work? I mean, come on, it's not going to clog up my system. It's probably going to work just great. Wish I would have thought about that earlier. Anyway, you live in Minnesota. Unlike California, you're going to use a lot of windshield wiper cleaner in the reservoir in your vehicle because of the snow and the salt and the grime on the roads. And then you're out there with the glare and it's nighttime and you can't see anything and you've got to have it in your car, or you got to pull over and like clean stuff off because you just can't see. This is what's going on when people are deluded. They just can't see the truth, even though it's right here. Just today, my friend of over 20 years says, you can't just read a bunch of books, Karen, and say that you're going to like totally heal people. I said, yeah. Oh boy. Yeah. Because that's all I did was read a bunch of books. Right. Okay. So I have testimonials on my website. I've worked it with people, many more that never wrote a testimonial. I'm too uncomfortable. Well, I'll get around to it. Well, I'm not a really good writer. Well, I don't really want to put my name out there like that. I don't really want people to know that I went to someone who's not a doctor. No. You know what we need to work on? The deluded people that are putting all of the contour and the layers and all the makeup on their face and the fake eyelashes, the fake fingernails. If you've got fingernails, I'm just going to tell you what I think here really quick. Plus up, I'm trying to see who you are. I wish I could read it. I'll put my glasses back on. Let me see what you're saying, because I can't see it. Too much water in your windshield. Oh my gosh! Thank you. Thank you, CP. That's a really good point that CP just made. If I'm going to add the window cleaner, I got to make sure there's not too much water, or duh. See, I don't think about stuff like I'm just not very mechanical. I thought it was a brilliant thing, and here it is. It's kind of a dumb thing. But I got to make sure I don't add to. Thank you. What if I would have had a frozen reservoir out there all winter? That would have been a bummer, right? Okay. All right. So this is why together we rise. For all of you that put all of that hair dye stuff and the fingernails, let me just tell you what I think about fingernails. I had fingernails for 30-something years of my life. I loved fingernails. I had strong fingernails. I had longer fingernails, mostly. There were times I painted them. I stopped doing that decades ago when I learned that this was my nail matrix, and I needed to check the lunulas. I needed to check the little white space down there to know what my iodine levels are. I needed to allow them to be like the solar panels that help to collect and transfuse what we call vitamin D, which is not a vitamin. It helps to build a corticosteroid in the body that brings down the inflammation that we're always exposed to all the time. You need to let your face breathe without makeup, without eyelashes, especially the ones that are taken from the minks. Come on, that's cruel. If you've got longer fingernails, cut them off. Become a functional, natural goddess, and not someone who's got all kinds of crud and crap stored in the back of your nails. That's yucky. No, yuck. Seriously, yucky. We're going over 30 minutes, I can see. And I don't want to be yuck. But if you didn't see, please go back to the beginning, because I showed you some dark chocolate filled pretzels that are vegan and gluten-free, that are yummy, that are like $3 a pack at Walmart for a big pack. And they're really good. And I think they're all organic, I believe so. Non-GMO. I believe they're also non-GMO, right? Yeah, let's see. Yes, in fact, they are non-GMO. Okay, the chocolatey pretzels and the yummy cookies, which I took a bite out of, which are, see, they're really soft. Cookies here. These are like $3 a pack, each one of them. And I showed my coconuts and my pineapple kombucha. I believe that the entire world, I'll show the doggies here before I go. Got to be able to have my face on there too, huh? I believe that the entire world could be fed that we could completely do away with the war machine. It's a business. We don't need a stock market. We don't need banks. We have our value in our connection. And since we would be able to eradicate the money changers, and the way that we are diminishing the people, domesticating them, to fuck is to domesticate, to dominate, excuse me. To fuck is to dominate. That's why you're all saying fuck off and fuck this and, you know, dominate this and dominate that. I mean, go to a dog park. You'll watch dominating all day long. Okay? I love you dearly. I'm so thankful, CP, for your hint. Thank you for helping me not freeze my reservoir. I need to make it over half. Maybe I'll just put the whole thing, window cleaner in there. I don't know, or just a tiny, tiny bit of water. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate you. And I have some other great live streams. Look forward to me tomorrow. Next Rise on Sunday. Be well.